Henshin go go baby, what's good guys? Yoku here, and today we're gonna be talking about Himeko because Himeko actually got like mega buff. Maybe it's not really a mega buff, but in my opinion it's a mega buff, so I'm gonna stick with mega buff. Himeko got buffed between CBT 3 and then the final release of the game, and now that the game is officially out or getting closer to being officially out depending on when I release this video, I could talk about Himeko. So Himeko got her character preview, and you know what, I'm just gonna show it to you. So originally this was on the CN Bilibili website, and then now we have the official English version of what is going on, and I'm gonna break this down in a way that like you'll get why I'm ecstatic about Himeko at this point, right? I like Zila because team building with her was gonna be really fun because there was so much that I could think about doing and testing. Himeko has now taken the number 2 spot for me to do that. Before, Himeko had a big problem, and it was that only her basic attack applied burn, and obviously the fact that if you were to break them with a fire skill or a fire attack, then they would also get the burn. But Himeko's thing really felt like she wanted to apply burn to the enemies so that she could stack DOT while still applying an immense amount of damage. Not immense like Zila, but you know, like it's consistent. It's a consistent amount of damage across the board. Himeko's damage basically never stops. That's the thing about Himeko. So that wasn't the case, and now we have it here, right? So I can actually show you guys this. Himeko's basic preview. The trace is really important. After activating Starfire, which is the name of the trace, Himeko's attacks have a chance to inflict burn on enemies for a number of turns. Obviously, burn is going to inflict DOT, fire DOT. The thing about this is, and they're not being very specific, but we went in, of course, we saw some more stuff. This isn't just basic attack. This is everything. Whatever Himeko does, follow-up attack, so the robot, burn. Skill, burn. Ultimate, burn. Attack, burn. All of it, burn. So this is huge for Himeko. Now you come into Magma. After activating this trace, Himeko's skill will deal increased damage to enemies currently afflicted with burn. So if they get burned for X amount of turns, and then you just pop a skill again, or even better is when Himeko's follow-up attack triggers, right? Because you've broken 3 enemies. Boom, robot comes through, robot applies the burn, you pop skill next turn. Now your skill is going to be increased by X% because of all the other things that happen with the multipliers. And then they're going to take even more damage for being burned. I think it's like 20 or 25%. And then the skill does its thing. It's ridiculous. I love it. I'm not saying that Himeko is busted by any means. I'm just letting you guys know that a lot of us really like Himeko as a character, not specifically in Star Rail, over all of Honkai, the entire Honkai universe. There's a lot of us that really just like Himeko. And I won't spoil anything. Himeko usually gets shafted a lot, but in most stories, her character usually packs a big bang, if you know what I mean. And so now we're here, right? The last one being benchmark is that after activating that trace, if Himeko's current HP is higher than a certain percentage, we found out the certain percentage is 80% of her HP, then her crit rate increases by what is 15%. That already lowers what you would need for your crit rate, right? So we want the 1-to-2 ratio for crit rate. Now you can lower that by 15%. If you want it 75%, now you can lower that bad boy down to 60%. If you want it 50%, now you can lower that bad boy down to 35%. So there's a lot that comes into play with Himeko getting buffed overall because these just weren't here before. Now we can come and we can look at Night of the Milky Way, which is going to be her signature light cone. And I think you guys can't see this, so like there we go. Now you can see Night of the Milky Way, right? And so even though it's a small increment, you see that the attack goes from 8% to 9%. But then the damage, right, after inflicting weakness break goes from 24% to 30%. So overall, this like increment, this small increment, right? It's a small increment when it comes to the attack percent, but you have to remember this is by 5 times. So 8 times 5, 9 times 5, right? Big difference. And then 30% of whatever your damage is way stronger than 24% of whatever your damage is. And again, the way that this operates is that when you inflict the weakness break, boom, happens, right? And it doesn't have to be like every single time you do 3. It can be anything, right? You inflict weakness break one time, boom, that immediately increases your damage for the next turn or for that turn in particular, and then all that damage happens. Some things that I wasn't able to calculate when it comes to Himeko in particular is that if you pop weakness break, the break damage happens if that damage also applies to that increase in that same exact turn, right? If all of that happens and you get the 30% damage increase by doing the weakness break, I wasn't able to confirm that, not with the Himeko that I had while playing the CBT3. So if that's the case, then by all means, once I magically pull this light cone and I'm able to test that, I'll figure it out. As of right now, though, it's just really nice to be able to look at, see that she's getting a nice little buff, and then they've adjusted her kit. Not too much, but just enough, maybe the right wording. And then we're going further into the game. We're getting deeper into the game. We're learning more about the game, getting more in tune with what we can do with the game. Himeko just looks really fun for me to play around with and build. So now it's just like a point where if I pull a Himeko, I'm probably not gonna, I'm gonna keep the account. Like, it is what it is. But that's just one of the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about when it comes to Himeko in particular. And I'm just a big fan. So like I said, if you're interested in Himeko, if you like Himeko, maybe this is good news for you. If you don't and you don't care about Himeko, I honestly am surprised that you got to this point in the video. But since you're here now, go ahead and subscribe because I'm cool. Yep. Like the video, comment, all that fun stuff. I can't say my use outro because it's inappropriate for YouTube. Smell you later.